This should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I had this hat on, had this outfit earlier. I guess I'll just turn the hat around, make it look like I'm doing something
You got
different.
the Limp Biscuit look going, brother.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And at that, I'm going to turn that hat around.
Fred Durst.
Fred Durst. All right. Welcome to Portal Intel on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. We're here. We're talking about the transfer portal. A lot of stuff has happened today. Paul and I fielded a lot of questions. Hope y'all were following his rules earlier today. But if you have not gotten the chance to read that, go to InsideTexas.com. Get 50% off an annual membership. Get all the best portal intel, all the best scoop on what's going on with the transfer portal. It's moving quick today. It's moving in a lot of different directions, to be completely honest. But it is moving all the same. We've been tracking it throughout these, 4 days, 5 days.
Spit it out, brother. It's all for the nookie.
Yeah, come. Oh, my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen. So go to that QR code, scan it, top left corner of the screen, 50% off annual memberships. You can also go to that first link in our description, and we can't wait to see everybody over there in the transfer portal thread. And so
the comments have already been bringing it, so I'm going to tip my cap to the fans.
Oh my gosh.
You guys are already on top of it, and we appreciate you every day.
Yeah, I made it just in time. Yeah, I got to get the Limp Biscuit references for. It's going to be funny to watch playoff football on a Sunday.
Matthew Miller, I think Matthew wins. Matthew wins that one.
Oh man, yeah, that's pretty good.
Come see us at InsideTexas.com for a free shirt, Matthew.
Oh man, and then I think this is where we should start. Dip our toe in the water here. Got a lot to talk about. Obviously, I think the thumbnail was, man, I don't even remember.
Brown.
Yeah, Raleek Brown and one other person. So lots going on.
Continued. I think Andrew Sprague.
That might, yeah. Gosh, we got a lot to talk about. But KD35, thank you for joining. I know you've been around for a while. Christian Allegro is visiting Ohio State now. That's the Wisconsin linebacker who made his way, I believe, with his dad and agent down to the 40 acres for a visit over the past 2 days. Our friends over at Letterman Row, Berm, Spencer Holbrook, they reported that Allegro is visiting Ohio State. Also visiting Ohio State is Bo Musgrove, a cornerback originally from Florida, played at Rutgers, had a connection with Mark Orfe. So Texas, Justin, just hosted a couple players who are going to see the Buckeyes now. I know some about Allegro. I think one of the coolest things about him, broke a bone in his arm playing against Ohio State, and then went and had about a few more tackles for loss, finished the game. That's a tough linebacker. That's a Big Ten. That is a Luke Fickell linebacker. And we know with Leongo Lafau leaving, we know with Anthony Hill leaving, linebacker is a big position that they're looking at. We know they're also looking at Cade Uluave from Cal, who entered the portal today. But let's start on the defense with Allegro and Musco. This is one where Texas is battling one of the best defenses in the country and a great coaching staff for a really sought-after player.
Yeah, you said a lot of it. You said a lot of it. This is Leona Lafau's replacement, potentially. This is a guy that's got skins on the wall, Big Ten inside backer. They're built differently. This guy is a dude, and there's a reason he's in Columbus, Ohio today. They do really well with their linebackers, too. Ohio State's about to have two go in the first 20 or 30 picks in April. And so they do it well. I don't know if Latternalis is still there, but at least the aura of James is still in the building. And so they do linebacker really well. Honestly, somebody asked us on the board at Inside Texas earlier, what's better, to have the first visit or the last visit? And I switched it up. With portals, I think it's the first visit. I think you need to have that first confirmation, that first big offer, that first, hey, this is what we need from you. For high school recruiting, I think you need the last visit. I think they're more impressionable. I think they're more going to be on the last visit high and forget kind of some of the other earlier stuff. And so it's one of those things now. We get to just wait and see. Joe and Charlie, we have this is the most fluid part of the job I think I've ever been a part of. And we've done this for over a decade. The fluidity of the transfer portal is crazy. Like it changes with the wind, with the weather in East Texas. And right now, Texas really likes Allegro. I think the kid fits perfectly. Let's see what happens when he gets, away from Ohio State. And I think you're going to start to see a lot of these decisions coming to an end over the next few days, maybe over a week.
Coach, you have a little bit of insight on Musco. What do you know about him? I know he's got some family that's played football. He's from the Florida area. So, and his finalists, I remember they were, I looked it up, Rutgers and Iowa. So he's obviously not afraid to go a little bit outside the Sunshine State. What's he bring to the field, and what are some of the things that we're trying to track all this down? It is a constant process. You're going to see us looking down at the phones to check.
Yes.
But what do you know about Texas and their pursuit of the Rutgers cornerback?
Yeah, I think it's always a good thing if a former coach leaves and he wants to bring you where he's currently at, then it's always a good thing. It means he trusts you, right? Because his job was on the line essentially. So if RFA trusts him, he's a good player. But watching this film myself, man, I see a DB that you can line him up at nickel. You can, in certain pass situations, you can line him up outside on the island. Like, he has good feet, good coordination. I mean, he doesn't panic when the ball's thrown in the air. He breaks on the ball very well. Like, so the ball's, if he's in zone, he has the ability to come off his zone and go somewhere else and go make a play on football. Like, he's a heady, smart player. He grew up playing quarterback. His older brother's actually a quarterback who plays football now, who's also in the transfer portal. So it may be a QB family. I mean, just a QB family. I know that dad played. I want to say dad played at, I forget which college, but dad played college football too, right? So he comes from a home with just football, and so he's a smart kid. He understands the game, and so I like him if Texas was able to get him, because he brings you that veteran presence who can play in a match style defense. And if you can play for Greg Schiano at Rutgers, that's a tough coach to play for. I'm sure you can play for Coach Boone in Texas. So I like him a lot.
Yeah, I've always, all the memes aside and whatever he did in the NFL, Schiano's known defense, and there we go. Schiano's known defense, and and as a result, I kind of trust Mark Orfe knowing defense a little bit too. As we learned, Matt Patricia knows defense too, so that's going to make this a pretty challenging, I think, recruitment. Just because these are two of the best defenses with a lot of great defensive minds involved in these recruitments, a lot of well-supported programs with high aspirations, and sometimes it just comes down to whatever the player wants. And so this is going to be fun. We'll go through a lot of different questions. KD 35. Justin, is Texas looking at Young? I think that's Richard Young for Bama, or is there a few that could go in that Texas is waiting on? I'm tired of the waiting game. We can let this kind of introduce running back.
Yeah, I think that's Richard Young. And I think he was a Florida guy, if I remember correctly, or at least Southeastern region running back that Texas offered back in the day, but I don't know how much they were really
Richard Young has not been productive in his career. And I think that if Texas is really looking at running back in the way that they want to upgrade the room, I don't think Richard Young fits in there. But we do know a little bit about Jaden Ball signing his, signing on to play with Florida for the 2026 season. We also know that Trey Wisner now signed with Florida State. We know that CJ Baxter, I think he's kind of trending Kentucky. I think there's still some more work for the Wildcats to do there. But now, as far as we know, or as not as far as we know, but now at this juncture, the very, very obvious name for us is Rayleigh Brown. And there's a good amount going on there with Texas as they try to reshape the running back room with the Arizona State 1,000-yard rusher.
Yeah, so that's the name. And hey, if you're tired of waiting for running backs, welcome to the club. Now that Jaden Ball's off the board, it's one of those things where they just go down to the next kid. I saw Hollywood Smothers, landing in Alabama. That was another kid that would have been a great take. But now we're talking about Rayleigh, and I actually talked to somebody close to Arizona State about him yesterday. And they love the kid. They say he's a great kid. They say he is explosive. Like he can change a game in one play. Not your traditional volume carry guy. I got the gist that it was probably a 10 to 15 carry type of guy. Maybe not a running back one yet. Maybe a running back two, and then he gathers into it or whatnot. But I'll say this. Is he an upgrade over Trey Wisner? Yes. He has dimensions about Trey that Trey just doesn't possess. And I think that's the biggest thing right now for Jaluk and Sark and those guys. paying attention to him. We know Coach DeLuke is going out to Arizona to see him today. We know Coach Muschamp and Coach Sark are also on the road checking out guys. They're apparently going to pop into Kansas City to see Jaden Woods as well. We'll talk about that. But with Raleek, it's one of those guys. He was first team all Big 12. I had to go back because I remember his recruitment. He was like a 5-star from Mater Dei. That was like really a big deal. I don't remember Texas ever being in it. And then he committed to USC. I think he'd been there for a minute. And then obviously
he did the OU thing. And then when Lincoln left, he went with him.
He went to USC. Got you. And that kid, he has explosiveness. And the best thing about him that I think Sark probably loves the most, he can catch it out of the backfield. This kid can line up and go out and catch the football. And we know how much Texas kind of covets that. And so he's supposed to be in Austin tomorrow. Texas is supposed to go see him today. I love Texas' chances with him right now, but it's portal combat. So just hold on.
Coach, what Paul and I were able to talk about this morning is that if your running back room, I don't think the running back room was as bad as a lot of people say, but it was nowhere near as good as it should have been. Right. And if you can go from that level to all right, that's an improvement. And Raleek Brown with other additions, and Matthew Miller, we'll get to your question in just a second. Raleek Brown with other additions can help in that improvement and maybe even be kind of like, I saw Jaden Blue, so I'm curious what you think, if that's a good comparison.
Yeah, I did see a little bit of Blue. Look, you can use him in all sorts of ways. You look at this film for Arizona State. The motion kind of reminds you of that third down back, but you can motion him out on a quick screen and he can take it the distance. Like he's one of those guys. If he hits a crease and the crease is there, he has a chance to hit it and go to distance. So he may need 10 to 15 carries. That's okay. Like he's a guy that makes the most of his opportunities. And you put him in the right situation. I think you spell him with other guys who can beat up the defense. So I know Eric talked about say Adam Muhammad, like a bigger back who can wear down the defense. Like you pair him with some other guys, and you got Christian Clark who's show what he can do in the bowl game. You get more consistency out of him and see that going forward. Like Raleek Brown fits in this offense, and you can use him in multiple ways. You can go two back, run some 21 personnel. Like you can just use him so many different ways. I like him for that aspect of it, just because he's so versatile. He doesn't have to be a traditional running back. You just want to find a way to get him touches out in space, yes, or off tackle outside zone, let him make a cut and just go to the house. And I think that's what type of back he is.
I think, and it's just a way that, in the same way that Trey Wisner probably isn't your conventional every down back, because Trey Wisner got 1,000 yards. That is an accomplishment. It took him 16 games to do it. I think both those can live with each other. Steve Sarkisian did not go into the year thinking like, okay, I got to give Trey Wisner a lot of different opportunities in order to, make sure that, we get our running game going. Raleek Brown had to do the same thing. Like that Kanye Udoh, who hit the portal, was not used. I think Arizona State had another running back injury. So they had to give Raleek Brown like running back one carries, and he answered the bell. Like he did as well as he could. He was in a situation he probably was not ready for, or not, thinking he was going to have to take on. But he did it. He got 1,000 yards, and they only had 12, 13 games. Like that's still an accomplishment in my opinion. Justin, we love getting the opposing fans on here because it's part of college football. When you get
bring it. I love it.
When you get your victories, you get to talk a little smack. The one thing I'll say, Sumrall, in is that why was this a victory? I think that says a lot about all the different efforts and all the different things that were happening with Florida, but it is a victory nonetheless. But this does give us a chance to talk about Jaden Woods a little bit. You had alluded to him earlier, Sumrall. We'll see if your prediction comes true. But what's the latest on the Kansas City area defensive end edge rusher that Texas is after?
I think Florida wants to keep him. I think there's a handful of schools that are trying to get him in the mix. I think he's a major priority, especially on that defensive side. And I think that's why Sark and those guys are going to go see him today. That's imperative to get him, because Jaden Woods is, when you saw all the problems of the Florida offense, and it was pretty bad. The defense, they didn't miss much. They had a good front. They had some good linebackers. They had some good DB play. And so that's a kid that you're just, going into this new scheme with Muschamp, you're going to need some more guys like him. You're going to kind of stack up a little bit. And I think the cupboard's already it's not full, but there's some guys that they're going to be able to fit in really well. Jaden Woods to me is an easy take. That's also one of those, even if you didn't necessarily need that spot, that's an upgrade on your roster. That's churning the bottom of it and trying to improve it at every spot. Jaden Wood is definitely that.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of fits for the edge position in that Will Muschamp defense, in my opinion, from this Texas defense. I don't think there's a lot of different things that are going to be a little bit different, namely how they deploy some of the defensive tackles and stuff like that, and the amount of edges they have on the field at one time. Colin Simmons has a fit, and if Colin Simmons has a fit, Jaden Woods has a fit. That also leads into a little bit of Kansas City, Missouri metropolitan area prospects. Again, Andrew Sprague is from that area. Michigan wants him back. Missouri with Chip Lindsey wants him. Texas brought him in on a visit. That seems like one that Texas is going to make a priority, again, with the head coach.
Yeah, and it looks like Michigan is prioritizing that, bringing back that offensive line. It feels like it took a little bit to get some momentum with Kyle Whittingham, but, I mean, if you want to get coached on the O-line, that's about as good as it gets. I was honestly surprised to see those guys' names pop up in the first place. I thought with Whittingham coming in, they would essentially want to keep him. But Kyle wants his own guys. But from what we understand, they really want these guys back. And so Michigan is going to go to the table. They'll go to bat when it comes to offensive linemen and defensive linemen. Michigan's rarely going to get outbid when you come into the trenches. And so it's going to be interesting to see. And I love Sark's being proactive to go see these guys and connect with these guys, because that's the most important thing. Michigan wants to try to keep him. You know what? Texas needs him more than they do.
Yeah, and that's a big piece for Kyle Whittingham. They're putting their effort. You've seen a lot of Bryce Underwood and some other players say, you know what, we're coming back. We're doing it again. And so I don't think if you're Texas, you want to see a maize and blue version of that with Sprague or Guarnera. Before we keep going, do have to show some love to one of our sponsors. That is Roback TX20. Go to RHOBACK.com. Use the code TX20. Hey, summer all in. You can buy Florida stuff, I believe, with this code.
Tulane.
You can buy Tulane stuff, get the Angry Wave. You can buy Texas stuff. You can buy so much stuff. Hoodies, and it's, I think, still hoodie season, even though it's about 80 degrees outside. T-shirts.
It's always hoodie season.
Collared shirts, joggers, everything you need, apparel, college apparel. Go to Roback.com, TX20, 20% off for all new customers. They're in the NIL game. They're in the college sports game. They understand what's going on, and they understand the type of apparel that you're looking for. Roback.com, TX20 gets you 20% off for all new customers. All right, Matthew Miller. Got to get you your super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now that the running back waiting game is over, does Texas expect to land 2 running backs? Are any playoff running backs possible? Also, by any chance, give a call to TJ Moore or Antonio Williams if we miss on Coleman. All right, I got to remind myself who TJ Moore and Antonio Williams are, but I feel like the
TJ Moore's, isn't he Clemson?
No, that's again.
Yeah.
Let's go with the first one. I'll do some.
When you throw random names out at random times during random days, it's hard to keep up.
You go with the first one, and I'll look up who TJ Moore and Antonio Williams are.
All right.
Well, no. I mean,
we have to look them up. We're not going to have any answers.
No. I mean, for the expect to land 2 running backs part.
No. I still think they expect to land 2 running backs. I think they have to. You don't let Wisner and Baxter walk without replacing both of them. And they only signed 1 in the offseason, or 2. I'm sorry. They brought in Jet Walker too. I forgot about him bringing him in both. You definitely have to have 2 because – and that's the thing, Christian Clark showed us something in the Citrus Bowl. I think he's almost prepared for running back 2 carries or to just assert himself more in the offense this fall. That's going to be a part of it as well. But and maybe his play in the Citrus Bowl, maybe they're thinking they can get away with just 1 running back. Maybe they can be just fine with a Raleek Brown joining that mix. But if 2 good ones pop up, Texas will try to get both. They're not settling on 1 and just going to the house. If it really depends on who else pops up into this portal, and there's still going to be more and more names that come up and appear. But I think if they could get 2, they would. But by watching Christian Clark, I think if you got 1, you could still be okay. But I don't think they want to be okay. I think they want to be all in.
Real quick on TJ Moore. He signed a deal to come back.
Yeah.
And then
Dang it, Matthew.
And then Antonio Williams, I'm trying to see. That's from 3 weeks ago, so I'm not sure. I mean, we're watching. This is what, day 5? It's still got till the 10 more days or so. There's still a lot going on.
Oh my God!
Yeah, playoff running backs. I don't know Indiana's off the top of my head.
And that's good that they prefer it that way.
Yeah, right.
When Lacey re-signed with the Ole Miss.
Hey, look, if Mark Fletcher Jr. hits the portal, I'll drive to the Coral Gables myself and bring him to Austin. Mark Fletcher Jr. would be the prize of the prize of the prize. You would never hear another word mentioned about Jaden Ball, any player else, if Mark Fletcher Jr. decides to hit the portal. Let's speculate wildly.
I think that's a 15-hour drive.
That's fine. I'll do it. I will get Mark Fletcher Jr. He showed me something in the last 3 games. That guy is an NFL. That is Edgerrin James Jr., man. That dude is an NFL back. Mark Fletcher, he's not going to the portal, but if he did, I think Jaluk Sark and the entire staff would be at his front door within a couple minutes.
Yeah, it's
Aiden Durham is not in play, by the way.
Okay, I was just about to get to that. Yeah. Adrian, yeah, that one is not looking like it's going to be something Texas pursues. Man, I got a lot of super chats to get to, but let me see if I can find what one thing I need to grab. But I will say this. I'm here for the panic.
Utah Horn might be probably he's easily in my top 5 members in Inside Texas. Easily. Maybe top 3. And he's not number 3. I love that guy. That dude brings it. He's like me. I'm here for the chaos. Let's just get crazy because that's all this is right now. And you said 10 more days of this stuff. Oh my gosh. It's going to be so much fun. Just keep refreshing and keep listening because we're going to keep updating you.
There you go.
All right. Jake the Snake. What's up with the Cal linebacker? That is Uluawe, I believe.
He just appeared, correct?
He announced intentions the other day. He just appeared. Charlie, what type of player are we looking at with him?
And look, with any Cal player, which is a great farm system, it seems like, because they have 1 good year or 2 good years, and people are always snagging the players. They do a good job over there at Cal of coaching guys up. But you're looking at a linebacker, I feel that will fit in the system because he can play in space. He can kind of cover multiple gaps with his athleticism, right? And especially if we go to like a tight front that everybody wants to talk about or running, a 0 tech and 2-4 eyes. Even if he's lined up inside, he has the speed and ability to kind of set the edge and get outside that defensive end. So you're looking at a guy, I think is an all 3 down linebacker. Like he's a physical kid too. He wants to bring it. You might hear him screaming, something on the field too. Like he's just one of those kids who brings a ton of energy, who brings everything behind his pads, but he can play all 3 downs, play the pass lanes, and he can fit the run very well.
Charlie, I want most of my linebackers to be like that. I want them to be borderline crazy, insane. Like, don't give me a well-dressed linebacker. Don't give me a guy that goes to class and turns in his assignments on time and doesn't kick puppies when he walks down the street. I want a straight-up punk playing linebacker. So I love that.
Keep it moving. Holly Z713, do we think communicating with players and agents yet to hit the portal versus aggressively pursuing those who are already in there might be a poor approach?
I think there's one way to summarize this. Tampering's real. This doesn't matter. They're going to be aggressive with whoever they want, whether they're in the portal or not. Did that get it? I don't know.
I think so. Something I brought up this morning was, you remember that Toledo cornerback that went in the first round a couple of years ago? I forget his name.
Vaguely.
I forgot it this morning. NFL draft show on ESPN. Nick Saban is like,
yes,
we were waiting on him to go in the portal and he never did. Okay, that might be a little generous.
That's your answer right there.
But any good Division I program trying to find words. Any good Division I program has an understanding of the types of players that in the FBS level they could add to their roster and improve it. Because what's Alabama doing having coaches watch a Toledo player? And that's just at the very minimum. Who knows what else they did?
It's their job.
So if if you're not doing the first part of the sentence before the verses, then you're behind. That's kind of why we know about some of the recruitments that didn't go Texas way, or the pursuits or whatever that didn't go Texas way, because they made that happen. If you wait until so-and-so jumps in the portal, now there are surprises, but if you wait until somebody jumps in the portal, you may be playing from behind already. So
that's it. You said it. You may be playing from behind. Let's grab. I like this Chase Shelton. Unless you got another super chat, because I think might be a little.
Let me go through.
He's talking about Michael Terry and Jaden Ball being the same size.
Oh, okay.
That would be like me and Ian Boyd being the same size.
Are we overlooking the fact that Michael Terry is the same body measurables as Jaden Ball? Will now have the same coach. I hadn't thought of that, but I think, Chase, you understand, how does that apply to the 2026 season? How does Jaden Ball in your 2026 play versus Michael Terry, at least as we expect it right now in your 2026?
And Terry's also 6'3".
Right.
When we're looking at the same body measurables, didn't Jaden Ball 5'10", 5'9.5", 5'10"? We're like 6 inches of difference in them. I don't think it's the same body. I don't know if it's the same measurables.
Right. I don't know off the top of my head.
I know Terry's 6'3". I mean, just from just talking to him and being up to him, but I think Ball's like 5'10", maybe.
I don't know.
But it's one of those, to summarize it, Ball is experienced. Ball, it could come in and play immediately, would pick up where anyone left off. Terry is still getting that position down. Terry played every position on the football field in high school religiously. He's learning the running back position more and more and more. And so Ball would just be better from an experience standpoint, but their body sizes are considerably different. Their body sizes are different, and Terry is not ready to carry the pill a ton in 2026.
Before I forget, got to let y'all know, if y'all need some tickets for anything, whether it is Texas Longhorns basketball, men's and women's, baseball season's coming up, NHL, NBA, World Baseball Classics around the corner, MLB, Texas Longhorns baseball, concerts, whatever you need, go to Game Time, gametime.co or the Game Time app. Use the promo code ON3 and you get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. You can get the view of your seat, or your view in your seat on the app. You'll learn how much you're paying without being surprised by fees or anything like that. It is the best place to get tickets. So go to gametime.co or use the Game Time app. Promo code ON3, $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Thank you, Game Time, for everything they do to support the show. KD35, just read Matt Zenit say Peak, offensive tackle from NC State, is visiting A&M today. Mentioned Texas was in the mix as well. I've heard some varying things on Peak. I do think he's a quality player. I think if Texas got him on campus, they would have to determine if he's a cultural fit. I know NC State's really good at developing and searching and finding great offensive linemen. It's kind of one of those like, oh man, Dave Doran, that's your calling card. Yeah. But I think that as far as something I've been told, that determining whether or not Peak, because he's got it on the field, if he's a fit off the field, that's something that Texas is really going to have to discern if they get him to the 40 acres for a visit. But
Chase, our boy Chase Shelton and Sailor Joe, Jaden Ball they got him listed at 6'1", 233, 231 or whatever. I'd probably say he's probably a little bit closer to 6 foot, but he's definitely in that 220, 230 range. So it's a little bit closer than what I was anticipating. Yeah.
And so Sailor Joe, thank you for bringing this up. 6'3", 220, 6'1", 231. I mean, and Michael Terry, he's, like you mentioned, he's an athlete. So it is fun to figure out where he wants to be, but I am not paid to figure that out. I'm just paid to write about it. Let me see if I can go through a few more different super chats. Oh, here we go. Adam Muhammad from Washington, or Washington Jr. from Baylor. I say yes, but I think both those guys are fantastic running backs. I think A&M's a school you got to watch for Bryson Washington.
I love Washington.
I'm still not sure what's up with Muhammad. We've been running checks on that with our guy Evan Veith. Where is Franklin? Is it up
Franklin? Okay, Franklin is. It's not East Texas, But if I'm going 79 from the
Yes.
backside of Palestine, and I want to go up the backside of, say, Taylor, outside of Austin, Franklin's right in the middle. Franklin is literally in the middle.
I remember that. Okay. Yeah. Green lines. I remember that now. So we're trying to figure out what Texas is doing at running back. Again, a lot of people have been asking about Raleigh Brown. We know what they're doing there. We know Jaden Ball is signed with Florida. That one fizzled out. Isaac Brown re-signed with Louisville. We know they need running backs, and either of these guys would be great fits, but Texas has to make it happen either way. Big Hulk, how are we looking at offensive line? I guess we can use this to talk about. At this current juncture, that
could change.
And we can talk about Guarnera and Andrew Sprague. Those are two players. I think I mentioned that earlier in the show, who did elect to. What they've done is they visited Texas, I believe, and then they heard a pitch from Kyle Whittingham back in Ann Arbor. I don't know where they've gone since then. I think Sprague has gone to Kansas City. Guarnera's from Florida somewhere, so I don't know if he's made it all the way back. Those are the two names to know at this current juncture. And then Eric Naline wrote earlier this morning about a name that if it pops up means some other things happen. We got people checking on some Big 12 offensive linemen who have entered the portal, maybe looking for an option closer to home. Again, like it is day 5, and that means that 5 days have passed and they're running out of days, but that still means there's 10 more days left.
If these guys commit and sign right now, their agent, and they're at the higher level, their agent's not doing their job. You think Cam Coleman's agent was going to let him just stay in Austin after he visited? No, he's not doing his job. He's got to go out and try to get the best amount, the best offer, the best package possible. So I think that's what's happening with your upper level guys. They're going to take their time. They've got agents that are also working the system as well. And so sometimes you saw the earlier guys jump in because I think there's less of a confusion there. There's less of complication. They know where they want to go. They got it done. Texas has done that with 5 guys already out of the portal, maybe 6. But for the other guys, you'll get more news as this kind of trickles out. Like I said, Joe said, we got 10 more days of this. I think you're going to see some movement in the next 3 or 4 days on a lot of these guys because, they, like you said, they got a week and a half left, but the agents are doing their job. If they sign too soon, too early, that means they did not, milk that school for the most they can.
I think we got 3 more because we got to get back to
Super Chats.
No, just chats. Also, by the way, Justin,
hey, I got to go. I got something. Oh, there's Jeff. Perfect timing.
All right, Coach, let's you and I finish this one out. Well, that could have been bad. Got a couple more to finish out. Sark has seemed to be multiple steps ahead, picking up Atkinson and Justice Terry for Will Muschamp's defense. Seems like he knew what was going to happen before he did. Still got faith in the portal. Sometimes there are players that fit every defense, but I can see a couple different spots for both of these guys that are pretty damn good fits.
Look, you look at Justice Terry. He fits the 4-eye perfectly. Like this position was made for him, right? He's a bit of a tween. He's not a true edge, but he's not really a 3 tech. You can play him at a 3. He can still dominate. But he's so athletic for his size. You can put him in a 4-eye. He can still contain and 2-gap and do all the things you want the 4-eye to do. I think he can hold the point of attack, but he also can get rid of the block and come off depending on whichever hold the running back or somebody, if the quarterback happens to scramble. He can do that as well. So Justice Terry, this fits perfectly. And for Atkinson, this system fits him so well. Like you want a linebacker who can fly sideline to sideline making plays because it's going to be asked of you, right? It's going to be times you got to cover down the seam. You got to get to the curl flats. While, manning the A gap, or you got to get outside the defensive end to contain. You need a fast, swift linebacker who can do that. You got your one linebacker who can come down here, your old school who plays in the box. But when you want to go for a light box and play 5 in the box, you can slide Atkinson out, and you won't lose anything having him out there versus a slot receiver or a tight end, whoever it may be, right? And he can still come up and fit the run. So this fits him perfectly. He won't be covering grass or anything like that. He'll be able to attack and use all his athletic tools that he has.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Justice Terry fits in this because it doesn't seem like there's a bunch of 4 eyes on the roster, but there is one there. Coach, I'm going to let you go. I'll finish out this show. So thank you all for joining in. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you for watching. I'll get this one question out. Is Texas going to make a run at Damon Wilson? Player Texas recruited, went to Georgia, went to Missouri. Wouldn't be surprised. Jaden Fields is where a lot of the eggs in that basket is right now. We'll find out what happens with him, and we'll find out what happens with Wilson. It's going to be a player who tries to get a lot of resources and is going to be worth it in the portal. Go make sure you join Inside Texas. Use that promo code, first link in our description. Also, you can use the QR code here at the top left of the screen. Get the transfer portal intel, not transfer portal, transfer portal intel. We got it all on Inside Texas. As you can tell, if I'm here just holding it down, we got a lot to go through. So make sure you head over there. Can't wait to see everybody over there. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com.